Hello, everyone. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. Number one, it's totally free. They also have creation tools that allow you to edit your podcast from your phone or your computer. How convenient is that? Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many, many more. So, what are you waiting for? You can also make money with no minimum listenership. It's time to get started. I want to welcome everyone to our show today. Thank you all for tuning in. I am so very humbled, so very excited to have a pioneer on our show today, a living legend, Mama IMAHKÜS. I am so excited, guys, and you should be as well. This young lady has paved the way for many, many generations to come. She has paved the way for many generations to come. We call her Mama IMAHKÜS. IMAHKÜS, Njinga, Okofo, Ababio. I'm going to give you guys just a little information about Mama IMAHKÜS before I bring her on the show. We're going to talk about a historic diasporan. Seestah, that's Seestah, Seestah, Seestah IMAHKÜS, first visited Ghana in 1987 and repatriated from New York City in 1990 with her husband, Nana Okofo, Iture, Kwaku. He's the first, Ababio. And I will admonish Mama IMAHKÜS to correct me on the correct pronunciation of the names, as I am getting used to learning the names and the pronunciations. He was a retired New York City firefighter and Asafohen of the village of Iture. Unfortunately, her kinsman and best friend was killed by a hit-and-run driver in Accra on July 3rd, 2007. She is the CEO and owner of a beautiful health resort, restaurant, and wellness center, including a tour service located in Iture, Elmina, conceived by her and Nana. One Africa was recognized by the Ghana Tourist Board as one of Ghana's leading guest houses and tour operation services. Additionally, Seestah IMAHKÜS also created and is the curator of the One Africa Walls of Remembrance Museum, covering the factual history of Continental and Diaspora born Africans. She also offers consultancy services, preparation counseling, preparation for repatriation, to provide guidance and information for individuals, families, and organizations seeking to return to Ghana for the purpose of residence, business, study, or tourism. One Africa is also a licensed tour service. For those of you that are just now listening and tuning in to our show, we have Mama IMAHKÜS on the show today. What I have just shared with you was just a brief introductory and overview of this phenomenon that we have on our show today. What we have covered so far is her historic history. We've talked about Mama IMAHKÜS being an author and story writer. We've talked about her trip to Rwanda. She's going to tell you more about her personal experiences in Africa. We talked about the death of her belated husband, who was killed in a tragic car accident, a hit and run. So with no further ado, I want to introduce to you all Mama IMAHKÜS. Mama, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, how you doing? I'm fine.
Mama,
I'm fine. Ain't no sense complaining.
it is a pleasure and an honor having you on the show, Mama. As I was explaining to our listeners that I just scratched the surface. I just scratched the surface of some of the things that you have already done. I mean, from the resort to the restaurant and wellness center that you have established to the touring organization company that you have established. I mean, you have done some things, Mama. Where do we
I've
start?
I've been busy, to say the least. I've been busy.
I
So,
see. I see. So tell us how this all began. Obviously, we've got some questions um that need to be answered. But tell us, where do you want to start? Where would you like to begin with your story?
well, I kind of think the best place to begin is at the beginning.
Absolutely.
And you know, I don't know. I don't see it as being phenomenal. And but it's a story. As you've read, I am a storyteller. I like to make people laugh. I like to make people happy. And I have a knack, which I think I've gotten from my sister, to be able to turn bad events or sorrowful events into joyful events and challenges into something that is not something that's depressing. I think one of the things about me is that I don't ever remember really being depressed. I hear people talk about, oh, I'm depressed and I can't sleep. For me, I could sleep on the back of a moving jackass. That's how, you can have a rock concert. I mean, I was at a Michael Jackson concert with my daughter one year, and I fell asleep, and we had front we had front row seats. So my daughter and Co were really upset with me because I thought, Mom, how can you fall asleep on Michael Jackson? But I did, so I was tired. But anyway, um, I look at and I've had my challenges. I've had my I've lost some important people in my life tragically, and I've had to overcome that and just continue living. So so that's what I've done. I enjoy life. I enjoy challenges. I'm not a mad person. I tend to be a little adventurous, as most of my friends know. But for me, originally, I'm from New York City, okay? Born, raised, educated in the Rotten Apple, okay? My dad used to say, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere in the world. So I've tested that, and it's true. So, originally, I was a human resource administrator for a major teaching hospital for about 14 years. And being the only Black woman in that position, being the first Black woman in that position, um, I learned a lot of things. Okay. I have to say that the Jews taught me well in how to go about business. I watched things. And so a lot of what I learned by doing. So ultimately, I was promoted to a rather high level position as the director of personnel, human resource administration. And so I did that for some years. And then I decided, you know, one day, you think about it, I said, with my talents and the fact that I'm depending on someone else to make sure that I get paid every month. But what's to say that one day they might wake up and decide, okay, you're fired. Okay, I don't have a job. How do I take care of myself? So if I could depend on somebody else to take care of me, I certainly ought to be able to depend on me to take care of me. So make a long story short, I won't go into all the other gory details. I left that position and began working for myself. As you know, I was married to, at the time, his name was Benjamin Robinson, and he was a retired New York City firefighter. So he and I drove taxis, and that's what I did for years. And I was also a clown. My name is Peanut Butter, the African American clown. I don't frighten children. I don't paint my face white. I educate. Okay. And just recently, I did Peanut Butter, the African born in America clown in Tanzania. And that was interesting, especially since people had never seen a clown before. And, people were really taken. And so I just kind of left my trademark. I bought some spoons, not plastic. I wanted them to have something to take away. And I bought a big jar of peanut butter. And I gave everybody whip. They said, peanut butter. I said, right, have some. And I gave out peanut butter and I sang my peanut butter song. And so it was successful. And since some people have seen it, they're like, oh, when can we bring you to our school to do peanut butter for our children? So long story short, I spent some years traveling around because, we're in search of things. I was in search of something and not really knowing what. I did know that I no longer wanted to be in America. Didn't think about Africa. One, because Africa was just not a positive image that had been presented. So I traveled. I mean, I didn't meet any other Black women while I was backpacking through South America. And I met a lot of white folks. People want to know, what are you doing out here? I asked myself the same damn question. What the hell are you doing out here? I was in the Amazon jungle. I crossed the Peruvian desert, all kind of stuff. And I had to ask myself a few times, what are you doing out here? At that time, I was Vienna. What are you doing out here, Vienna? So my last visit to a South American country was Brazil. I loved Brazil. I stayed in Bahia for almost a year. I loved it. Okay. Because I always look for my own people wherever I travel. I want to see people that look like me.
What did you love about it, about being in Brazil?
I love the African flavor of seeing Africa in a positive light. The culture, they were in Bahia, there's a vibration that you feel. It's almost like feeling the drum beat in your heart, in your chest. I mean, I felt drums inside, in my head, in my, my ears, everything. Wow. Before, and I realized that, daggone, this is where it's at. I was introduced to Candomblé, which is something totally, totally different. But it brought to me more of a sense of who I was and how important I was, not only to me, but to people around me. And so I left Brazil. I came back to America, got back to America. Oh, and then I did visit England. I was in and out of England fast. Zip, zip. I went to visit a couple of the women, Europeans, that I had backpacked with. I did make some friends with some people, and I visited them. But Lord,
you didn't want to stay?
Oh, hell to the no. No. I spent 4 days, and 4 days I was ready to leave because people were cold. And the people I was visiting, I didn't know anybody else in England except my friends, Laura Tricker and another.